All right, so welcome. Hello, Sketchbook Heroes, and welcome to Wrap to Draw, the step-by-step approach to help you observe and draw anything you see. We just finished our share meet and greet. Make sure to have your drawings that you're drawing, even if they're just quick sketches, so you can share what you have. We are recording, and Wrap to Draw is free to use. Classes will be recorded, names and faces will be blurred. There's going to be a detailed notice there on our website. Norms: be respectful, do your best, be patient, persistent, positive, and hopeful. Please mute during lesson, except for questions. If you have a question, that's fine. Not just a class, but a course, a community, always free to share, not for profit. So this is our format. Our meet and greets for 30 minutes, and then we have our lesson, which is 5 to 10 minutes. I try to keep it short and quick. Then we sketch and we draw for 30 minutes or more, and then we do some reflecting feedback. And now we have our screen share feedback, which I screenshot feedback, which I copy. And if you want me to give you feedback on any of your work, we'll do that. And then assignments and practice the last. Then we have at 8 o'clock, the hardcore heroes, dedicated and disciplined people who are going above and beyond what we're doing in class, can stick around. If you just want to stick around and see what they're doing at 8 o'clock. All right. So hello and welcome. My name is Eladia, and I'm so excited to be part of your journey. I truly believe that anyone with a desire and a will can learn how to draw. And my promise and mission is to help anyone get through the obstacles that can hold you back. I will personally help you break through those barriers, especially if you have it in your heart to make the world a better place. So this is the first week. Our first week really is the mindset. That's the biggest obstacle. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly until you learn to do it well. Everybody in here has an artistic license. You are drawing enthusiast. You're sketching. There's a difference between sketching and drawing. So it's just start off with sketching. It's a sketch. If anybody says, what's that supposed to be? Arm yourself. It's a sketch. Okay. People, everybody's a critic, but you need to know how to criticize. So be hopeful, have a growth mindset, and all that stuff. We will be going to depth when we go through week 1 and on my webpage as you look into that. But that's the biggest obstacle, I think, is ourselves. And wrap helps break things down, helps break those obstacles down. So we're learning to draw what we see. And the first one is ratios. Ratios is the height compared to the width. You want to basically look for squares. This red hot wings, buffalo wings, is you can see the height and the width with the blue little arrows, and the width. I talked about the difference between sketching and drawing. And this is also the orthographic view, helps us simplify things. Orthographic view is like the shelf view, looking at stuff straight on, blocking in, finding the squares and circles. That's what we do when you're first learning. Oh, there's quite a bit of chat. What is the meeting code? Meeting code? I don't know. I'll go to the website. Oh, okay, cool. I sent someone. Oh, they cannot log in. Oh, someone cannot log in. It's all right. I don't know. They just have them go to our website. Okay, sorry, I'm looking at the chat. So ratios, you can see here the pencil. The pencil has a lot more ratios, and that's going to shoot for your accuracy. Once you know the accuracy, then there's a ratio test. I don't know if anybody's done it. We'll go over it today. I have a little more time, and I'm a little more not so rushed today. So if you need to go over that, I can go over those ratios. You can see here the buffalo red hot wings. The ratio is 1 to 2 3/4, probably 2 3/4 by 1. And the pencil is 1 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. 1 by 9. So if you were to draw this pencil, no matter what size, if you know the ratios, that'll improve your accuracy like so much. So that's the R, and you want to practice that before you even get into angles. Angles, ratios, you'll probably practice and focus on for a while, a week or two, especially if you do it daily. The more you practice, the more you progress. Okay, so this week, as we're looking at ratios, and yeah, you want to practice drawing containers and looking at, that was the assignment, the ratios. Angles. There's three main angles. You have your vertical angle, your horizontal angle, and then you have your all the 45-degree angles. That's the 45-degree angle here. And then you almost actually have to, with another thing we're going to do is have a little frame another day, and have that frame. And as you look at things, you want to have these angles. Same thing why you see an artist with a brush, or he kind of, you see him going like this, he's looking at the angles. So he's looking at ratios, angles, and proportions to improve their drawing. So you got to practice those. And that's it. Angles is the lesson for today. And there's infinity angles because there's angles in between these main angles. Angles do not change with scale. That's important to know. So if you make something bigger or smaller, the angles do not change. Same thing with the ratios. The ratios do not change. If you make things bigger or smaller, they do not change. Neither do the proportions, which is amazing. So no matter how big or small, these are items that do not change. And these are the items that I've seen people struggle with the most. So that's what I created, wrap to draw. And if you really get good at angles, you go into perspective, and that would be a whole other lesson. This is really the mastery of angles, because that's what perspective is all about. And that's it. That's our lesson for the day. All right, so we're going to be drawing rocks. We're ready to draw rocks. Have your pens and paper and your items ready. Stop sharing here. And we're going to be drawing rocks. The rocks are on our website. The rocks are on our website. So if you go to our website, you'll see the rocks. I will print one out so I can have it here. Let me see. It's still full screen. That's what it is. I'm wondering what's going on here in my screen. There we go. All right, we hear people going on our website. Let me see. I'm going to turn that off. 7:06. All right, so I'll print them out. I should have had to print it out ahead of time on our website, Rock One. So you can see I did the research. There it is. Let me print this out real quick. All right, here we go. Let me get my paper. You can use anything you'd like to draw. If you want to even do watercolors, it depends on what your level is. Whatever level you're at, the more you practice, the more you progress. And that's what I truly believe. Here we go. Here's my paper. Rocks are abstract, so if your rocks are off, that's okay. That's okay. But if you want to practice the idea, the concept. All right. So here's our rocks. Quite a big picture here. I think they're upside down. I think there we go. I think that is better. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, I had a feel for it. That's interesting because it shouldn't make a difference, but I can tell. I guess it goes that way. All right, so we are going to break down my rocks. Am I upside down? Upside down. It's probably too big. Zoom back. There we go. Yeah, this picture's probably too big. It's all good. All right, so I'm going to use a pen. We'll use a pen just so you can see how I would do this. Now, what you want to do is don't get caught up in the detail. You want to find the biggest pattern that you can see. And there's even with these rocks, I can kind of, right now I can see this here, these shapes. I'm almost putting rocks together. This is actually would probably be a good start. This circle shape here, it has the same height, same width. So we're looking at the ratio. So that's where I would see a circle here, and all these other rocks would fit. So this is like a puzzle. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that shape first. Start with the big shapes. And that's actually probably a good shape to start with. So I'm going to start with this shape in there. I am doing pen. I would draw lighter than this. I would sketch really lightly. So there's that area there. Then I have this other area here. I'll let you go ahead and do that. So if you want to draw a circle on your paper, do that. You want to sketch lightly. I am sketching dark, and this pen here is actually it's pretty inky. I see this other pattern here. I'm putting all these rocks together here. There's almost half a circle on this side. So we're gonna go half a circle on this side there, and it kind of cuts off. It's all right. We can pretend it doesn't. But half a circle on that side. Let's see what other big shapes. Everything else kind of fits in there. Everything else kind of fits. Yeah, there's all these other rocks. And I would say that's about it right there. There's two more rocks in here. There's maybe a rock in here. There's one around there. Now I'm starting actually to get in the mid-sized shapes. The mid-sized shapes. So that's your plan of attack. That's the process. You want to see ratios, but you also want to see the big shapes first, the big ratios first, and then the smaller shapes. So everything's made up of shapes. Everything you see around you is made up of shapes. So you want to see the big shapes first, and then the smaller shapes. Don't get lost in the detail. A lot of people do that. I did that. I would get lost in the details of it, the leaves on a tree, and just draw the leaves, and all my drawing would be out of proportion. So this helps with proportions. This is actually a good step before we get into proportions. All right, now I see this rock here, and I see the angle. So this little rock, let me see, this one right here is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go from left to right. I kind of blocked in my area. I kind of know what this is going to look like. So I'm going to draw this rock right in here. This one right in here. This is I can see the height and the width and the angle of it. It's kind of like this right in there. It's almost like egg shape. It's probably a little bit wider on this side. And this is really good practice, seeing these shapes. And it doesn't matter if your ratios are off or your angles are off, because they're just rocks. But if your angles, and it's a good practice, because only you know if it's going to be off or how accurate it is. Okay, we got that rock. Then there's this other rock over here behind it. So I am going left to right. Left to right. There we go. This other rock that just touches that rock. And then there's another rock above it. So I'm leaving that space for overlapping. There's a rock up in front of it. Right up in here in this corner, there's a rock in front. And this is how artists create space. Artists create space is one of the ways. And that's on our website. If you look for how artists create space, they use, what do they use? Anybody? Here's a test. They use space pods. Well, space pods is the acronym. So pods, P stands for placement. Pods, placement, anything that's lower on your paper is closer to you. Anything that's higher is further away, usually. And then O stands for overlapping. That's the O in space pods. And then there's the D, which is detail. Things that are closer have more detail. Things that are further away have less detail. There's a little bit of overlapping here and there. So that's actually a good little challenge. This one right here, ooh, this one right here is right in front. So there's a little rock, Arkansas right here, with some overlapping. Watch the overlapping. Watch how things overlap. We're observing. And then you have this other rock that's just right in front of everything else. Probably a little bit of a dark area. And then that rock. See the shape of it. And above shape, see the form if you're ready for form. You might be stuck on shape, not stuck, but you might be in that phase that might be beginning and looking for shapes. The next phase or focus after shapes is form. I'll get a little bit into that at the end if you stick around. Hopefully I can get it in before 8. All right, because that's the beginning of the Hardcore Heroes talk today. The rock over there. This rock here. You might be squeezing some rocks in, and that's okay. You'll say, oh, wow, I should have made more space for it. Or, oh, you know, that's The same thing with faces. When you imagine like, oh my gosh, the nose should have been over here. But when you're doing rocks, it's a little safer. It's not, it's good practice. Shoot for accuracy, but if it's not, nobody's going to be able to notice, hey, those rocks aren't the rocks those aren't my backyard rocks. You know, nobody's going to recognize. And it's good practice, especially if you're, you know, because everybody's a critic. Oh my gosh, everybody's got something to say, but they don't, you know, it's easy to point stuff out that's, oh, this is wrong, I don't like it, oh, that's not right. And that's even students of mine, oh my gosh, they know what they don't like. They don't like, I don't like it, I don't like it, but they don't know what they don't know is what they like. And that's okay, but what do you like? I don't know. We know you don't like it, but what do you like? And that's also important, finding stuff you like. All right, there we go, got a good feel on this. Some rocks on top, right in here. Looking at negative shapes too. We really haven't talked about negative shapes, and I don't have anything on but the negative space, seeing what's not there to draw with, to help you draw what's there. I've talked about it, but we don't have, there's exercises out there. Eventually those will go on my webpage. So I'm really hoping to be very creative this week. At least do one painting, one big painting, like Regina's. Actually, it's very inspiring. So it doesn't matter where you're at, it's about where you're going. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Do the best you can. Nobody's perfect. That's why everybody's out there. So we're just drawing. Oh, somebody had to go. Could I send the photo? Oh yes, sorry about that. It's on our website. I will put it in on the chat. So I'm not keeping, if you feel free to speak up also. I'm not, during the lesson is when after the lesson is when you can talk. Let me see, paste. All right, everyone. All right, it's in the chat. So the link is in the chat. Sorry about that. So if you'd like to see the rocks I'm drawing, it is on our website. Now there is a rock that's hidden back here. There's a rock that's hidden back here. This one that's back here. So you almost have to use your imagination and imagine it back there, and then have the overlapping rocks, the ones that are on top. So I know some of you struggling with drawing rocks, which is why we're doing this. But hopefully I address whatever you're struggling with. If not, let me know, and we will, you know, I can try to help you with it. And it's good to struggle. It is good to struggle. And it doesn't feel good, but then, you know, it's like, oh, okay, so that's why I've broken things down. Okay, so just look at the ratios, then look at the angles. Like this rock here, the ratio is almost 1-to-1. This one right here, I'm focusing on this one, but then I can see angles. So if I see this angle here and see this angle here, it's almost, I would say, ooh, let's see, there we go. There's that angle, and then here, let's see, there's another angle. It's almost like that shape there, like a diamond shape, almost like a diamond shape. And that actually helps draw, even with curves. If you can actually change some of your curves to straights and not worry about the curves so much when you're learning, just try to see the angles. That'll actually even helps with accuracy. And then you can add the curves in afterwards. Yeah, the curves, bit of curves. But I saw the straight angles. That shape goes in there. And this will help improve your other drawing. When you're drawing faces or drawing other stuff, drawing things that are abstract. All right, Little Rock, another little rock right here, Little Rock, Arkansas. Right there, another little rock. Yeah, it has a lot of detail. I gotta keep an eye on the time. 7:18. We got 3 drawings to do, so maybe we'll cut. Oh, well, the other one's actually going to be easier. My little sister's trying to get into the Zoom. All right. Oh, okay. What is the meeting ID? Ah, good question. Let me see. Oh, I think I can put it in see if I can get it. Oh, that's a great question. The meeting ID. Meeting ID. Oh, okay. I think from our website. Go to the main homepage. Meeting ID. Copy link address. I'm not sure if that's it. Okay, hold on. Let me go to Zoom. Oh, here we go. Let me see. Uh-oh. What's happening? Oh, I'm on the wrong. Okay, one more second. So hopefully, yeah, just go continue drawing your rocks. I'm working on getting the link. It is on our website. But, let's see, hold on. Zoom. There we go. I can say easier. Here we go. The meeting ID is 893. I'll put it in the chat. 9226 902. Let me put it in the chat. And you can also, and the password would be GRIT, G-R-I-T, all lowercase. There's the password is GRIT. Oh, password GRIT. Yeah, there it is. All right, cool. All right, let's continue drawing rocks. Sketching, we're sketching rocks. Ooh, oh, look, I can see my spacing. These 2 rocks should have been closer together. Oh, that's okay. It's gonna stretch. I just lost it. My spacing is off right there. That's okay. Draw this other rock, and this is where definitely look at the shapes. Look at the angles of the rocks. Shapes have axis lines. So like this shape here, you can see there's an axis line. If you were to, see that, these axis lines kind of help. This should have been covered in ratios. I did cover it one day. I don't think I covered it last week when we were talking about ratios. Yeah, last week I went through it a little quick. But yeah, your axis lines. Look for the axis lines. And also, actually, it's the next step. Once you start going into form, seeing the axis lines, seeing the contour lines. Looks good. I think I'll just spend another 5 minutes on this and then move on to the next set of rocks. I wanted to do it progressively harder, but this one has just a lot of detail. The other ones actually are probably not that much harder. We'll see. Take on the challenge. It's all about taking on the challenge. Take on the challenge. Don't run from it. And then when you get it, it's like, oh, I got it. And this rock here, I can see it's almost round, and I can see I already got it here, and it's round, so it has it almost has the same height, same width. It's a little bit taller. We can probably spend all this whole time period just on this rock drawing. Especially if we get into the shading and the coloring, but really don't want to focus on that when you're first learning. If anything, we can actually do that in the second hour when you're more advanced. You really want to practice your drawing, do more drawing, and not worry about the shading. That stuff comes next. If you already understand it, you can throw the shading in there. Just don't want to have too much to focus on. Ooh, this rock needs to have to be higher. And that's okay. See, I did do this rock lower. Let's get my medium-sized rocks in here. Yeah, it's rock. There's a mistake right there. But only you and I know that, nobody else. It's just a sketch. Yeah, everybody has an opinion. Even we have opinions like, oh, I don't like it. But if you don't like it, why? Why don't you like it? And then use that as your okay. Use that as your challenge. Figure it out. Especially if it's just one drawing, it's hard to say, oh, you don't like it. But if you have several drawings, then you're like, okay, wait a minute. Then you start seeing a pattern. Start seeing, I don't like the ratios, or I don't like the angles, or I'm, you know, and then that gives you something to work on. And it's like, oh, okay, I need to work on this. I need to work on that. And that's where Lise, I didn't see her. She, I don't know if she's here yet, but she shared her drawing. Oh, she is here. And, you know, and we can actually look at stuff and take that to that next step if you really want to, you know, critically look at your work. Because criticism can kill creativity if you let it, but it can also, you know, help grow your work. If you look at things, but don't want to be too critical, hypercritical, because that'll kill creativity. I've learned that the hard way. And I've seen it, and I've seen it in action too. Oh my gosh, when students can be really hard on each other, and they like, that's bullying too. I mean, oh my gosh, I've seen some, being around students, sometimes they can be, and they're dealing with a lot of things too. I understand that. You just got to try to teach them better. You do your best until you know better, and then once you know better, you do better. Just do your best. Do your best until you know better. And then when you know better, you'll do better. Maya Angelou. Oh, this rock. Yeah, some of your rocks are gonna have to make bigger or smaller to make them fit. Now, one thing about this is actually a good precursor is shading, because and you might want to squint your eyes. We talked about squinting your eyes to really see the patterns of dark and light. I know this, maybe we can do a little bit of shading to push some of these forms into form, because that's the next level. So let's just talk about it and do it really quick. If you don't do it, that's okay. Or if you want to do it, that's fine. Challenge yourself to the next level. A little bit of shading, especially if you have some time. If not, focus on the drawing. And then values and shading, all that other stuff, and how you shade. See, some rocks are darker, some are lighter. And then there's texture, there's dots on the rocks. Texture. Pen, probably not a great tool to, it'll time consuming, but also relaxing too. I mean, you can just take your time putting in the texture, just dots, just putting dots in here on this one. A little bit of shade on this one. I'm just hatching, that's all I'm doing. And this produces contrast, a difference. There's a lot of dark little areas in here between these rocks, so I'm going to shade some of that in. I'll just do part of it. So feel free to continue this if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and do the next one. If you want to continue with this and this is all you do today, that's fine. You know what you need to work on. If not, we'll just go to the next one. If you just want to do something really quick, sketching rocks. Have your questions ready too. If you want to put, I will repeat the Maya Angelou quote again. It's one of my favorites. Do the best you can until you know better. And then once you know better, you do better. Once you know better, you'll do better. Yeah, just do your best. Nobody's perfect. You do your best until you know better. And like, oh man, I should have been doing it this way. And then once you know better, then you just start doing it better. You start doing it that way. It's like, oh wow, I should have done it. Because for years, I am talking about years, I would focus on detail, not seeing the big shapes. And then once you're like, oh, okay, now I know why. Right? I missed that lesson. Or I just drew for fun. And actually like, oh, okay, wait a minute, this is a better way to do it. Learning the hard way is a good way to draw. It's a good way to learn because you don't forget. It's like, okay, you need to do it this way. But don't get hard on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Yeah, do the best you can. Just do your best. That's one of the that's what got me this far. It was the Boy Scouts. It was I remember in the Boy Scouts, you say your name, promise to do my best, to do my duty to God and my country, to help other people and to obey the law of the pack. So that was the second line. I state your name, promise to do my best. And that concept in fourth grade stuck with me. It's like, do my best. Wow, what my best? And I did it with art first. And then after art, in high school, it was like, why am I taking this basic math stuff? I got to do my best in math too. I started doing well in drawing and stuff. So I'm like, wait a minute, I can do that in math as well. So then I started, took the same concept of doing my best into math because I didn't like it. And then I realized, wait a minute, this is problem solving. This is figuring things out. This is like drawing. This is puzzles, right? But school doesn't put it that way. You know, I don't know. School, I would change schools. School, a lot of things at school. I've tried. It's hard. Everybody's stuck in their ways. Everybody wants to do things. But I don't know. Let's see. Look for patterns, lights and darks. Do your shading. I think we're going to go on. I'm going to go on to the next drawing. Yeah, the Maya Angelou quote. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, and I would probably do more shading. Oh, watercolor would be really nice on this. Once you have it drawn out, then you can go, you know, the drawing is the foundation. Once you have the drawing, then you can go with it in so many directions with watercolors and stuff like that, but you got to practice that foundation. All right, let's go to the next. You can continue. Let me take me a little time to print out our second set of rocks. There we go. Maybe I can zoom if you want me to zoom in. Feel free to, you know, this is interactive. If you want me to do anything, feel free to comment, suggest. All right, let's see. Rocks. My drawing rocks. All right, here we go. Let's see. Drawing number 2. Let me copy that down. 8939226 9002. All right. Okay. Sketchbook here. Rock number 2. Oh, rock number 2 reminds me of my reminds me of yesterday. I don't know if that is. I don't know. Could be Baja. All right, so let me see. I'm going to print it. I'll print it smaller this time. This one has some challenging elements to it, which you can just block in. You don't have to. It's actually what's important is seeing the big shapes. So let me print. There we go. Ah, yes, this is smaller. It's already automatically smaller. That's good. All right, here we go. So the next one, we're going to draw rock 2. If you are on the webpage, it's there. If not, let me put the link in the chat while it's printing. Let's see. Here we go. Ooh, that's a big link. That's it. Wikimedia. All right, my printers start humming. Get a fresh sheet of paper. Start over. Just give yourself a pat on the back. Yes, I did my first rock drawing. It rocks. And you can look back and forth at it and see, okay, wait a minute. I can see look at my ratios, my angles, my proportions. Proportions, that's a tough one. This one actually helps with proportions. How big something is compared to something else. How does it all fit? Good little puzzle. It's a good little puzzle. That's why I love drawing. It's like a puzzle. It's like, oh, wow. There we go. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Right. Here's our, do lose some of the detail, but this is our drawing that we're going to be doing today. This next one does look like Baja. There's some big elements. Let's move it to the side. What's going on?
Oh, excuse me, Larry, could you send the link?
Yes, I put the link. I'll put it again. I
Oh,
put the link.
what, the number?
Oh, you know what? No, I sent it to a specific person. I didn't send it to everybody. Sorry, you're right.
Oh, okay.
I'll try it one more time. Thank you for, yeah. Yeah, somebody put a message and then I sent it to one person. There we go. There we go. All right. Fantastic. Whew. It's starting to get warm in here. Let's see. Trying to get it to fit right. There is a program that I can, one of our persons that's not here should tell me about, and hopefully my next class I can get to it and figure it out so I can actually put it on my screen so we can do that. But that's the thing, you want to plus your work. You do the best you can, and then you look at it and say, how can I plus it? How can I make it better? Same thing with my website, same thing with what I do. How can I improve upon it? How can I plus it? And little by little, just that 1%, looking for that 1% better every day. Okay, so I'm going to break this down, try to see the biggest shapes. The biggest shape I see is actually the ocean. This is whole rectangle shape here. Okay, so this whole rectangle shape is the biggest shape I see. And if I look at it, I can see fractions, and it's not in the middle. If I look here sideways, it's not a fourth. It's probably a little less than a third. A rule of thirds. There's a rule of thirds, but it's probably right about there. So however big you want to draw it, you can actually even draw a rectangle and say, okay, it's not the middle. It's not the fourths, it's between those two, probably right in the middle of those two. And that's where my ocean is. That's my eye level also when it comes to perspective. That's the eye level there. Straight across. The angle, horizontal angles. Angles is our focus today, this week for those of you should be looking for angles. Really should have a focus where like, okay, this week I'm going to focus on angles. Even if you don't draw them, you should be looking for them. Looking for lines and seeing the angle. Is that a vertical, horizontal? Is it a 45-degree angle? What angle is it? And the best thing to do is to not just look at it, but also draw it. But you can do it while you're waiting in line or you're, a little off time. Look for angles. Is it horizontal? Is it vertical? Right? Is it somewhere in between? Okay, now I'm gonna see this big shape in the middle, this big rock, and I'm not worried about the details. I'm trying to see the shape. There's actually just kind of like a shape there. It's like two shapes.
Can you bring the picture back into view, please?
Yes.
There you go. Thank you.
There we go. There's two shapes to that. There's this shape here, like an egg shape, and it's a little bit longer. And then there's another shape down here. So I have this egg shape there, and this other shape down here. And then I might have to make a little more space here for the boat. You already see the boat is going to proportionally, it's not going to fit, but it's really close. The boat's just there it is. It's a looking at the height and the width, looking at the ratio is like that. I would say about that much. The height and the width. It's probably, if I look at the squares, almost twice as wide, probably a little bit less. But I'm just eyeballing it. You can actually, if you have actual picture, use a pen or whatever you have, a straight edge, to kind of see how wide it is compared to how tall it is. And that's a good thing to do. So if I were to use this, let's actually do that. I'm gonna use this this business card. I'm gonna see the this width here, Let's see, I'm saying it's about twice, especially from here. Let me see. There's one. There's my one. So here's one, and then here's two. Yeah, it's exactly twice as wide. And you can check for yourself from here to here, from this point to this point. So yeah, and that's it right here. That's what I have here. So, and there's a lot of other little things to this boat. I won't get into the details of it. Stick with the rocks. But my boat is right here. It's a 1:2. That's the ratio. Ratios. Yeah, there it is. That's math. Like, oh my gosh, I would run from it. That's the thing. Until you figure out the problem, it's not a problem. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, you run from the problems. But once you figure it out, it's not a problem. It's like, oh my gosh, why was I struggling with it? It's because it's new and it's, you know, it's a puzzle. But once you figure it out, once you know the magic trick, it's not a trick anymore. You know the secret. It's like, oh, okay, it's puzzles. It's another thing I liked growing up, puzzles. So there's this big shape here. There's another set of rocks. It's kind of like in there. I'm just trying to get the feel of it. And then I know there's like two rocks here. There's one here, and then there's another, it's a little bit bigger in there. But I'm just sketching it in, breaking it down into the shapes. And this is actually pretty dark. I would go lighter than this. If you're going this dark, that's okay. But usually you want to sketch light. This is kind of like blocking everything in. And there's a Google definition on blocking in. So if you look that up. But yeah, we block things in, sketch it in, and then go darker. Because then you can make changes if you need to. I think that looks pretty good. We've got this big hill or mountain in the background. And I think of it, I'm looking at how it swoops. So it kind of swoops. I would pretend this part's not there. Kind of see how it swoops, kind of like from here to here, seeing where it starts, where it stops, and seeing the swoop there. See that swoop? And then it swoops up. So there's a curve there, and then add this second part afterwards. And that's the mountains in the distance. And there's a lot of little detail. There's little, but I simplified it. And then now if I want to go back and kind of get some of that detail in there. Shade if I want to. I wouldn't shade. All right, that's pretty close. Depending on how much time I want to put on it. Let's see. Ooh, 7:41. Probably go 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes to 7:45. And then the next one I'll spend 10 minutes on, 45 to 55. And then we'll spend 5 minutes sharing out. I think I can do it less. The next drawing, I think it's a little more complex, but I'm going to go faster with it. I'll go faster with it. And if you're drawing this one for the rest of the time, that's okay. You got to listen to yourself and say, okay, or say, I'm done. Next. Oh, I'm done. And it's like a puzzle too. It's like, it's like, oh my gosh, sometimes you got to put puzzles away and then you come back to them and you're like, oh, you figure out the pieces, right? You figure out, oh, this is where it goes. This is where that goes. Sometimes, you get fatigue. There is drawing fatigue. It's like, oh, wait a minute. That's why sometimes you have to turn your drawings upside down, turn the pictures upside down and see it fresh, right? You can look at it fresh, turn your drawings upside down, look at it in a mirror, look at them sideways. That gives you a fresh eye because there is, visual fatigue, and sometimes you're working on something for a long time and somebody sees it fresh and they see the mistakes like right away. It's like, oh, they have a fresh eye and you don't see it because you've been looking at it the whole time. And somebody with a fresh eye can see it and boom, what about this? And I'm like, oh, you're right. Or, you're writing something and you misspell something because you're focused on other things. You're focused on placement of letters. So I'm looking at my lights and darks now. You can squint your eyes, that helps too, to see patterns and simplify some of these shapes. Simplify some of these patterns, and you probably want to do a little bit of shading. Try to see some of these darks and lights because they're patterns of dark and light. All these rocks here are pretty dark. There's a dark area in here. There's this crack that's on top. Try to get these patterns of dark and light and how it all fits. Even the ocean has some darkness to it. The dark side of the rock. All this is in darkness. And it looks like it's a, wow, all the detail, oh my gosh. But if you see the big shapes and then just the detail just comes in afterwards, it's just all these this little spray of water crashing onto these rocks. It's just in there. Oh, so waves. Hey, there's some waves. Our next week's topic for the hardcore heroes. We'll be doing some watercolors. I don't know if we would do watercolors today. Let's see. Actually, well, we'll see. We'll play by ear. See what's going on. I do have something to talk about our show. If you want to do watercolors, we can do watercolors. But next week, yeah, so prepare for watercolors. I really like watercolors to learn. You learn a lot. Inexpensive. Ooh, this rock is too high. There's more darkness there. I'm going to bring this rock down. Keep that dark shape there. Bring that rock down. See, I can make those adjustments as I'm working away here. Trying to see how everything fits. And all this area in here is dark. I'm gonna work on my boat. I'm out of time. I'm out of time. So continue working on this. If you want to work on this, again, if you're still working on the other rocks, that's great. Again, you know, if you just want to sketch it out. If you just sketch it out, I guess actually if you're learning first, I just sketch it out. You wouldn't focus too much on detail. Just okay, just get it there. Did it. Next. I do want to fix this boat though. I do see this front part has a little bit of a curve on it. And then that whole light area, there's a light area on the front. Oh, fireworks still. And then you have the little on the back, a little dark. And there's a slight angle. This whole side back here is a slight angle with the windows. I'll go dark on those. Not going to do every single window. I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to cross hatch it to shade it. This little cruise ship. There it is. I'm going to cross hatch that little cruise ship there. Just get the feel of it. And then there's the something on top right there. Right on the ocean. That's good. Now waves, I don't know the texture of them. It's just really just a lot of horizontal on here. You can see some patterns where it goes dark. All this area actually back here is dark. And then down here it's light. Yeah, getting foam, getting all that stuff. Breaking it down. You can see I can see almost this dark area here, this dark blue, and then it goes into this greenish blue. Yeah, colors. There it is. All right, let's see the next one. I'll try to draw it in 3 minutes. I'll sketch it out in 3 minutes. Let's see. So if you're still working on this, or if you want to work on this for the rest of the time, that's great. The next one, I'm going to do really quick. Let me see how fast I can do the next one. Let's see. Probably take me longer to print it. Let's see. Here we go. Rocks number 3 on our webpage. Or should I? There we go. Rocks 3. Oh yeah, there we go. This is more of a scene. I'll do this really quick. Oh, actually, I'm going to use my grease pencil. Grease pencil. Let's see. I'll put the link in the chat. There it is. Let me put the link in the chat. Copy if you want to do this next one. There it is. And if here I would, if my focus is values, I would focus on values and get my values in there, my lights and darks, but want to focus on shapes. Focus on shapes. That's why I'm sticking with focus. As every week we have a different focus. Let me see angles. Yeah, we had our horizontal angle. This mountain in the back can actually break down into two angles. This angle going up and the angle going down. And this mountain in the background. Focusing on angles. So here's our picture. This is what we're going to be doing. I'm going to try to do it as fast as I can. You'll see. Actually, I'm going to do it really fast. I'm going to use my grease pencil. My grease pencil helps me shade really quick, and I can work really quick. So don't get discouraged. Just showing you what's possible. I'm just going to do this really fast. So if you're working on the other ones, or if you want to come back to this at another time, that's fine. Let me bring that in a little bit. All right, so I see this big shape, big mountain. So the shape down this way, and there's story here. There's a person. I'll draw that person right here. And then we got some, these are the big shapes. See that? That's pretty much blocked it in. That's the top, that's the bottom. Looking back and forth, there's this big old shape here of something. And right about there is this white rock. There. I'm just going to go ahead and draw. I'll probably be quiet because I'm going to draw really quickly. This is good right here. This is almost blind contour drawing where I'm almost looking at it and not really looking at my paper so much. That's a really good exercise. That helps here. Lights and darks. A pattern of shade in here going across. I did do a quick outline. Here and here.
You can't see the picture.
We lost.
There we go. Oh, you know what? Here, let me go ahead and put, yeah,
Okay, thanks.
let me put spotlight there we go. That's better. I can see it better myself. Yeah, hopefully I can figure this out next week. And that's one of my pluses. One of my assignments is to see if I can get my image on at the same time without having it here. All right. I'm doing this just really quick. There's a whole dark area. I'm actually squinting my eyes almost, and I see these dark areas, patterns of light and dark. There's this person here that's about there. It's kind of his arm that way. This person is at the 3/4, the rule of thirds. And actually, they're following the rule of thirds when they took this picture. Really quickly sketch it in, grass, just get the texture, shade. Oops. Yeah, seeing all these patterns. And texture. I'm almost not even looking at my paper. I'm more looking at the image. So this is actually a good example of blind contour and how and why it would help, because you're really observing and trying to draw what you see without worrying about how it looks. Almost just recording. Looking for the lights and the darks, the patterns, and all this area is dark in here. It's not dark, but there's a slight shade. There are some, I guess, what is this? Chaparral. This rock pops. I didn't even talk about contrast on the other. There was contrast on how things pop. Well, that's it. It's actually pretty quick. There's a lot of texture, a lot more stuff I can probably do. But sometimes you want to just draw really quick. And that's it. Ta-da! I think we're done with drawings for today. Just a little more detail, a little more shading. I am using a grease pencil. It's not a traditional. It's just one of my favorite tools. Let's get some more darks, more shadows. I did do a quick shade, and then now I'm going to go back in here and get some push the values a little bit more. This is a little more advanced. I am looking at values. Focusing on values. Focus. Shade back here. Try to get the feeling of that road. The long and winding road. All right. Congratulations for sticking it out this far, everybody. You are a hero. You're taking on challenges, taking on practicing, practice. All right, I think that's pretty good. I don't know how long that took. 7:54. I think it was 4 minutes. 4-minute drawing there. Probably do a little more shading. I can shade pretty quick with this grease pencil. All right. If anybody would like to share, feel free to share, or somebody had to go. Ting had to go. This is very great. Looking forward to next week. Me too. All right. You don't have to share. That's fine. Just people like to see what other people are doing and how they're doing it. And don't compare to despair, as we do that a lot, especially with twins. Every time I have twins in my class, don't you hate it? I tell them right off the bat, I'm not going to compare both of you. You guys are individuals. It's the first thing people do. They compare. I was comparing. Oh, your sisters. No, everybody's an individual.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, I do, like you mentioned earlier, to be careful on your shading, or like
Yeah.
when you're just starting out with the picture to kind of sketch out your forms. I
Uh-huh.
have a habit of going a little darker than what I
Uh-huh.
want to do.
Yes.
So as I make my sketch without erasing, I
Uh-huh.
try to blend in the lines or
Yeah.
try to do something. So like with, let me see if I can switch this.
All right.
I have to take off my background so you can see.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So with this,
Yeah.
I ended up doing the circle, as you can see.
Uh-huh.
So I was trying to blend it in.
Uh-huh.
That's what I was doing for the first picture.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
What
That's
would you suggest that I can do more to like cover up the lines, especially if they end up being in the middle of another rock?
Yeah,
Overlap
yeah. You'll get used to how dark to draw. You would have to draw it lighter. I mean, like on mine, where'd mine go? Oh, here. I think this is it. Yeah, I just let it go. I mean, you can see here, I didn't erase it. It's there. It's a sketch. So, you'll know how, and that just comes with practice. Okay, I'm going to just block it in really lightly. You got to block in really lightly. And then, and if you're doing it, because block it in light, especially if you want to produce something that's more, that you want to keep. The biggest, one of the things, challenges is, having our artwork being very precious and we want to do it perfect. Sometimes you got to let that go. You want to focus on not focus on ratios or focus on angles or focus on overlapping. Know what you're focusing on. If you're focusing on accuracy, or if you're not, you're just focusing on accuracy, and then you do several pieces, and then you'll say, oh, okay, on my next one, I'm going to do this, right? But the biggest thing is to just draw lightly. Use pencil, and then you can go and erase. But that's not really what you want to focus on when you're first learning. You want to focus on the shapes and focus on how everything fits, and say, okay, that's it, and let it go. That's why you do it on newsprint. Because we can.
The small middle rock that you have with all those lines, like that one, the small one. No, up, no, to the right, down, a little down, to your left.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
It's like a medium-sized rock next to your large one. Yeah, that one.
This one, yeah.
You have all those lines there without erasing. How could you kind of like blend those in with the rock? So like the rock finish.
Yeah, I would.
Dimensions, anyways.
I'm sorry. What was that last part?
One rock can have several dimensions. like several layers?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't worry about these lines here. If I really wanted to, I can go back in there and let me see. I didn't have it upside down. Yeah, there it is. This is this rock right here.
Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm.
This one. I would you see, I can recognize which rock it is. I would like these lines in there. There's really nothing I can do. I can make this darker, and if I do bring this, and this goes with value now, and if I do go with darker here, that brings my other darks darker. Like all this, there's actually a lot of dark in here to produce that contrast. Yeah, this goes with value. Like here, I can already see that this rock should have been a little bit higher, and I can bring it up. But if you're really aiming for you know, just draw lighter, use a pencil. If that's something you want to, you know, do finished work, and go back and erase. I can go in here with whiteout and do that. But I'm not worried about that. My focus is spacing, how things fit. Like here, I can see the space between these two rocks. I can fix that by making this smaller. And then, yeah, you can actually with pen, you can actually dark like, okay, this back rock
Yeah,
back here. I'm gonna erase that. See how I just made that one smaller. I can make this rock smaller too. Here and just by going darker,
Yeah, that's what I
erase
mean.
some of those lines. And if you have patterns of dark and light, see this rock is lighter. Now it pops out more because this background is darker. If I wanted to, it's because this rock is lighter. This background is dark. So you know, you can kind of hide some of that with some of the texture. And if you were painting it, some of these lines up here, they do get lost. It's almost actually, yeah, I mean, you can see the lines here, but they don't really, you know, don't really affect the overall picture. You just see the structure, and actually you can look back and see the structure, that first circle that I start off with, and this rock here, and then see how the other rocks, how they fit.
Mm.
Yeah, and if I wanted to, I'd go in here with watercolors or you know, I mean, how much time you want to spend on it. This is almost like what your intention is. What is your intention? Is your intention to make a pretty picture, or is your intention to focus on ratios and how things fit on puzzles? If you want to make a pretty picture, then yeah, okay, you want to use any pencil. Start off with pencil. Start off with, you know, then you can go back in here and erase stuff and stuff like that. But your focus and your intention is to be the shapes and how they fit together, angles and ratios, and negative space, because I really didn't hit the negative space on some of the stuff. How, you know, looking to see the negative space, and I can fix some of it as much as I can by drawing it in, and this helps practice drawing instead of erasing. Yeah, I can bring that up.
Do that in there. Cool. Yeah, thank you. You answered my
Oh,
question.
yeah. All right, great.
Mhm.
So, nobody wants to share today? Okay, maybe I talked too much today. Oh, it's 8:02. All right. So, all right. You don't have to share. Sharing is always just.
We can share
Oh,
that.
we have- all right, great. Oh, we have
I would
3
like
hands.
to.
3
Yeah.
hands all of a sudden. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got. There we go. All right, Regina.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right.
What you got?
For my
Wow.
the rocks.
Uh,
I think you're really helping me break it down and not feel really overwhelmed.
yeah, that's the thing. You can't get overwhelmed, and if you don't get to all the rocks, it's okay. You got to the important ones, the big rocks. Yeah, there you go. Wow.
There's this, and this was actually like a painting that I worked on a few years ago, but
Uh-huh.
I didn't do it like this, and I did feel really overwhelmed trying to get every detail.
Yeah.
And then
Well, that's
last
great.
this little one right
Oh
here.
yeah, there you go. You got all 3. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks for breaking it down. That was very helpful.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's the thing. Bringing it down. That's on our website. Awesome work, Catherine says. Great. Thank you for sharing. Oh my gosh, let me drink something. Sorry.
Hey, Eladio. Thank you very much. It was helpful. I just mainly do like the quick sketching
Wow.
gestures.
Really good.
Thanks. It was like I feel like I'm getting lost with the placement and the ratio. So I was like, oh,
Yeah, really
and
good.
then going like it's just a
Wow.
quick trying to get that the one rock and
Very
and
well.
the mount. That was like a scribble. So sorry.
Mhm. It's good.
Thank you.
It's good. Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh. Yeah, this.
Can't hear you, Eladio. Sorry.
That's right.
Your gesture drawing, it can really, it shows that you've been working on your gesture drawing.
Yeah,
Okay. Thanks. Thanks.
sorry. Sorry, you're
Thank you
doing
for
very
sharing.
well. I love your program.
Thanks.
You have a good feel. Yeah, you're really capturing your line. You're getting that feel of that line, just loosening up. You've been doing a
Thank
lot of
you.
quick drawings, it shows. All right,
Thanks.
Yelena, let's see.
So the first thing, I follow your direction and I decided to switch to the ball pen. This
Oh.
is I think Sharpie or
Yeah,
something.
that's a felt. I think it's a
So
felt. Wow,
my rocks, but it
that rocks. And that's really bold. It really stands out with the pen that you
yeah, I
use.
try
Wow, it looks
to
like it's,
make
you're getting some good shading in there too.
space.
Really good overlapping. Your overlapping is looking fantastic.
Dark. So
Wow.
two more. Yeah. But I think I cannot. I squinted my eyes. But anyway,
Oh,
let's see. It's supposed to be very white.
uh-huh. Next time.
Yeah. This one looks like I'm wrong ratio.
That's great.
Supposed to be this person. So
That's good. No, that's fantastic. It's fantastic. Thank you for sharing.
I really enjoy to use all kind of
Yes,
material.
yes. You got to try different materials. Try different materials. Especially once you find your favorite one. Okay, once you find your favorite one, you gotta try different ones.
Yeah,
It's really,
actually,
really good.
thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh,
Fantastic.
thank you for your advices because I tried many times. It is nothing happened.
Well, it's happening. It's happening now.
I sunk into details and that's it.
Yeah, you can get lost in the details, and it's therapeutic too. Sometimes you want to just get lost in the details, get lost in your work. But it's focusing, you got to focus on the big stuff and the small stuff. It's like, you're in a forest, right? And you're lost in the forest, but you want to stand on get high enough where you see the big things, and then all the other stuff just falls into place. It all just kind of falls into place.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For the future, I don't know how to put that raise hand emblem on.
Oh, okay. Well, you can still
Where is
share.
it located?
Yes. You'd like to share? Let me see.
No, I just wanted to know how to do the emblem.
Oh, how to raise your hand?
Yes.
So there's two ways to do it. The one I see the most though is at the bottom of your screen where it says reactions. Yeah, there's raise hand, so you can raise your hand. You can see my hand in the corner. So it's at the bottom where you have mute. It's where all the controls are. It says mute, stop video, security. Well, mine says security. I don't know if you have that. Participants, share screen. Oh, you don't have that either.
Oh,
Reactions.
that's,
Reactions.
is that it?
At the bottom. Yeah, there it is. You have an applause, but yeah, that's it.
Oh, I don't have another hand on there.
There should be the
Oh,
the
the
one.
bottom.
There's a whole bar underneath.
All right, I've got it. I've got
Okay.
it. Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right. You
That's
learned
good.
something.
Mine's doesn't look anything like anyone's because I guess my brain does not work like everyone's.
Well, you still new. Everybody's at a different level, right? So you got to know where your level is and say, okay, this is where I'm at, and then yeah. See, somebody said that's okay. It's about progressing. It doesn't matter where you're at. It's about where you're going. So you know, you always want to progress. You always
Those are
wanna
my
progress.
rocks and
Oh, there
I
you go.
do it the way that you want it.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. No, you
Good.
have results. You can see that's good. No, it looks good. I think it looks good. Let me spotlight. Hold on, let me spotlight you real quick. No, that looks good. I think that looks good.
Yeah.
You're getting see what's important is getting the ratios because it's a complex drawing. So your ratios are looking good, which is the height compared to the width, especially yeah, I can see some of these. You're getting the feel or the kind of egg shape of it. The next step would be to try to capture the form with shading. And I think that's in 2 weeks. We go over shading and form a little bit. We focus on it or talk about it a little bit for 10 minutes.
So I marched to a different drummer.
Wow.
Yeah, that was,
Really good.
yeah, you can see the value though. You can see how your rocks in the foreground really pop forward and you're getting the lighter value of everything else to push in the back.
I'll keep trying.
That's what it's about. Awesome. That's what it's practice, not perfection. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. All right. All right. We've made it to the 8 o'clock hour. Thank you for sticking around. We have 15 people still. Great rocks, nice texture, Elise says.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eladio.
Thank you so much,
Bye, everyone.
Hilario.
All right.
Good
You're welcome.
night. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. See you next
Thank
time.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, hardcore heroes. We're gonna go hardcore right now. I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna get into the
Thank you. Good
outlook.
night.
All right, good night. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
See you next time. All right, I'm gonna get into, let me see, the journey here a little bit. So if you're brand new still, you can still listen to some of this into Photoshop. Here we go, where we left off last week. And if anybody wants me to, you know, go over your work, we have some people here. I can screenshot your work and give you feedback. This is still going back to Elise's work last week. After you left, I kind of like put a little more work into it, just a little more thought into it. So all right, here we go. This is it. Some thoughts I wanted to share. There we go. All right, so I figured out how to actually remove that screen sharing, which is actually pretty cool. Let's see. See my notes. Let me double click here. All right, here we go. Share my screen. This tool is not here. There we go. Okay, so so solidness of form. This is just reviewing some of the stuff I talked about last time, getting that solidness of form. So seeing that form and practicing form. And then the placement of the ear in relation to the size of the face, that really helps. So if you look at the placement of the ear, and that's just really quick when you're drawing faces, you want to see the relationship of the ear to the top of the eyebrow and to the bottom of the nose, kind of how it fits there. See, oh, it's not letting me draw. Why not? Oh, it's because I'm on that layer. Here we go. Oh, yeah, not my tools. No, it's yeah. And the other thing is, push the values in contrast with squinting. We talked about that, pushing the values. And the other thing I didn't really talk about is, as I heard your video, the textures, play with the textures as far as the hair and stuff. You want to play with the texture. So once you have it at this stage, the next stage would be to play with the textures. I did add some here, and I don't know if I did. Oh, this is what I wanted to do. Yeah, play with the textures and the values. So if actually looking at the shirt here, I'm just bouncing all over the place. So I'm right here. Looking at the shirt and your background, you could have shaded the shirt a little bit, especially once you squint your eyes. I'm going to show you how I can do it really quick. Is actually I already have this brush here, and that's what I was playing with. And let me see. Let me show you how I do it real quick. I would add just a little bit of a shade because I can see you push it the shade in here in this shadow area, but I'm going to just push the shade in here just a little bit more.
Yeah, because that one, the darker spot is the guitar strap coming down.
Yeah, that's good. But
Yeah.
there's a value in here. 'Cause
Value, yeah, okay.
there's a value in here that if you hit this just a little, push this a little bit more, it'll make this pop. It makes that pop.
Okay, yeah, it does. Yeah, I guess like when you're talking about like playing with the textures, that's what as like, is it like almost like the dots and like dashes? It's like, you know, working with that. Yeah.
Yeah, getting the feel of it, yeah, and the dots and the dashes. I would yeah, get smaller and then just go in there and then yeah, just and that does take a little bit of playing. Once you get the value in there, and then you can go in there and actually, you know, okay, add a little bit of texture as far as like even like as a shade. A little bit of blue in here. Get rid of it's not blue, go darker. Yeah, and just yeah, adding a little bit of texture, and then you'll know how much texture to add and how much. That just comes with experience. You don't want, like you said, you know, don't want to put too many wrinkles, but you're like, okay, and that just comes with deciding. Now you'll see. Now you'll be able to see here. Let's turn this off. Because you're right now here, for those of you who are new, we're talking about the elements of art. When you're new, you're focusing on line and shape and then form. You really want to go in this order. Really focus on line and just play with line and have line. And this is line, it's a texture in there too. And seeing the shapes and then seeing form. And then the next would be texture and value, which is seeing the value and putting, it's almost like coloring. And then the next after that is color, and then it's space. Yeah, that's, I would go this way. So when you're new, focus on just this stuff here. Yeah, there. So the next thing for you, because you're like right here, you're like here, texture and value. You're at this next level. And then the next level would be, I don't know if you're gonna start playing with color or if you're gonna stick around in this area with your work. Let me show you what it looks like before. Yeah, a little bit before. And actually, ooh, you know what? Oh, there it is. With that too. Yeah, just a little more shade. A little more shade with that. There we go, that shade there. All right. Yeah, and it's just pushing some of the shading a little bit more. So that's where you're at right now. You're right here in value, and it's getting that range.
Great.
Looking good. Looking good. All right. So that was, all right. So if anybody else wants a little more critique, we can go into it. But this is good to know where you're at. So you know where you're at now. You're like your lines and shapes and form are looking really good. So your focus now is here, getting that texture and the value. And then the next would be color. Start even playing with color. You can go ahead and take that challenge, jump in there. But it's good to know where your focus is, and seeing value and squinting your eyes is going to help a lot.
Okay. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. So if there's any questions, or if you want me to do any, I don't know, we're down to the last 3 people here. That's fine. Let's look at the chat. We can call it a night. I think next week we'll be ready for watercolors. We're going to get into watercolors next week. We'll get into watercolors. Put my hand down. Oh, where's my hand still? Any questions? How you doing, Elise? Good to see you.
Good seeing you. By chance, I was just wondering, have you heard from IPC by chance, or?
No, I haven't heard from him.
Okay, because I have not seen him in any of the other classes that we attended together.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So I was just kind of concerned. I was not concerned, but it's like,
yeah, no, it's
he's okay. So yeah.
You know what? I was always seeing him on because he was getting caught up in that that website. What is that called? I have.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen him on that lately either. I haven't been on this iPad on the what is that? It's not TikTok.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, let me see, where's it at? Clubhouse. Yeah,
Clubhouse. That's right. Clubhouse.
he was
Yeah.
all into the Clubhouse for a while. I'll reach out to him. I know he's. We'll see. I'll reach out to him this week. I have
Oh, okay. Thanks. Just because it's like, oh, I haven't seen him in anything, and I was like, is he still okay or busy working? Because I think he was getting, or he's trying to get some grant for something with working with the kids in like a community center or something like that. So
probably.
yeah. Okay. Well, if you talk to him, tell him hi.
I'll tell him hi. I'll tell him hi. Tomorrow.
Okay.
That's
All
all right.
right.
Call it a night.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for doing that. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye, Evelyn, and bye, Fran.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.